Okay, it's another video. The same day as I did the truck, the Ford. So I got my rebuild kit for this 3.5 ton Michelin floor jack. I want to keep it short and to the point, so I already started taking the simple things apart. It's easier if you take the back coaster wheels off so that you can get at the hardware, which is right around the bend. And then obviously on the wheel side, there's two bolts, nuts. This is a bolt, and this is a nut that is attached to a rod, and this is a, let's see, what tell you that? That would be, let me see, where are they? Here they are. We have Allen head on one of them, which is the one that goes on top side, the opposite side of where the nut for the coaster wheel goes, and then this bolt goes right here. And you got two on this side and two on the other side. I gotta remember to turn off my music there, the radio. I don't want someone getting all tight about it. But anywho, once those bolts are out, I disconnected the spring after it was swung around because it's easier to get this spring unhooked from this end than it would be to get it unhooked from this end. As you can see how it's looped in there. And with the screwdriver, you could take this end off, hook it up underneath there, and pop it off. And then these two elements, this one here goes into the handle, which, tightens it so that the jack will go up. And this is the part that pumps it. And that is in the handle mechanism right here, which you have what's that called, a clevis pin or something, with a clip. So you'll need a small tool like this one, small one, so that you could squeeze it and take it off carefully. And then I also use these pliers from Snip-on to help with the removal of this spring. And then also to take the cotter pin out that ends up being right in there. And that holds the end where the cylinder is attached to this part here. So when this thing swings around, I have it up on a 4x4, making it easier to put it in place. That goes like that, and then that goes in there, so you can see how it is. So it makes it easier once you disconnect it from that point there, and you slide it out like this. You can get at the spring and also the cotter pin. So right now I'm going to get this out of here, and I'm going to take this part and put it in a vise. It would be helpful if you have a vise to actually take this whole thing apart. And this is the kit. It's a hydraulic repair kit. G. Let's see if we can see that better. Let's see. I don't know if you're able to tell, but it's G-735. And this is where I got the rebuild kit from. It's the first time ever ordering anything from them. Not being sponsored by no means, or by anybody else for that matter. So this is the rebuild kit. It looks correct because when you go onto their website, actually they have almost every name brand floor jack and maybe other stuff that has ever been made. So I came across where it said Michelin. You go on to that particular part of their website, and in my case, this is a 3.5 ton, so that's what I picked and ordered it. It took a few days, but I'm going to attempt for the first time to rebuild that setup. I've done hydraulic cylinders before. I can't imagine it being any different. So I'm going to expect that oil is going to come out of this thing when I take it apart. I will have a catch pan for that. So in the meantime, I'm going to put you on the stand, slip this off, and then put it in the vise. And then spend a little bit of time with that and try to keep the video short So stand by. Alright, you can see it that it is in the vise. I turned the vise and I put a couple of blocks of wood so that it would help reinforce the position I wanted to keep it in. And the nut size of this for this particular jack is 2 1/16. I happen to have them in much bigger because working on road trucks, big tractors, dump trucks, all that silliness, you need bigger stuff like this. So with my 3/4 inch drive snap-on ratchet with a piece of pipe that was 2 feet long over there, I was able to finally loosen this cylinder. So right now, this will be the first time taking that off. You're going to see it, see what happens, what it looks like. Hopefully not too much oil comes out of it because I did get some to come out already. So I'm going to upright this so that I can finish unscrewing it. I need to turn that. Yeah, there we go. This way will make it a lot easier. Here we go. Put this right there. Snug this up. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to lean it a little bit outward, so if any oil comes out, I'll be able to catch it in my good old faithful coffee can, chock full of nuts. That is my favorite morning coffee. Here we go. The top is spinning now too. Maybe. Oh, yep, here it comes. See that? I was right. Having a little bit of an angle. It definitely helped. And it's coming out of the port that actually pumps up the cylinder. And that's where some of it came out earlier. So that's a good thing. I guess the air finally allowing that to come out. There's more oil in there. I guess there's this big sleeve right here, obviously, and then there's an inner sleeve that's, if this is say 3 inches, which it could be that and maybe a little bit more, the inner sleeve is definitely 2 inches for sure. So actually, I do have a measuring device, and sure enough, it is 3 inches. It would be OD is 3 inches. Now the inside one is maybe 2 inches. If anything, it's nothing less than 1 7/8. Then we got more coming out. It is until I do that. In a minute. Need another rag. Alrighty. So I'm going to loosen up the vise, and then I'm going to tilt this in, or take it and pour the rest of the oil in there. I don't want to make a mess. I don't like an oil mess. Snug that up. Let's see what happens here. Alright, well that seems to be all of it. cylinder of the jack and spread the oil all over that cylinder. It'll keep it from rusting. And better yet, I'm going to let this thing sit on that can as I take the rest of this apart. I think I'm going to get some light on the subject. Puss in Boots is working her way over to say hello. And I see some, yeah, there's some nookie stuff. Yeah, some nookie stuff. There we go. Icky. Yeah, this looks pretty simple. In my mind, anyway. Puss in Boots thinks the same thing. So, she's eating her food right now. But there's a... Is this a seal? What is this? I don't know if you can see this cylinder, but there is a plastic washer in between another C-clip and whatever this device is right here. I'm not really sure what that is. I'm going to look down here in the cylinder, and I don't see anything in there. I do see like a filtered bag or something down there, loose. I guess that goes in that hole there. You'll be able to see it once I take this cylinder up. So there's another O-ring at the bottom of the sleeve on the actual hard case of the jack. I will clean all this stuff up, make sure she's really nice. And that filtered piece went in the can, which is good. So we have an O-ring here on the bottom. Yeah, it looks like a little filtered sock like. I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to guess that it would go in this hole right here. And once again, the phone is ringing as I'm doing the video. So let me get this cleaned up, figure it out, and I'll get right back with you. So stand by. Okay, I'm back. As I mentioned, I changed the inside seal on this one and the outside. And this is the big nut that goes on the top. So this smaller cylinder, which does the pushing, has a few parts. Actually, 3 parts as far as 2 plastics and 1 O-ring. And I'm going to try my best to show you them. And it's locked in with this threaded 2-slotted, whatever you want to call it, that goes in on the top of this. But before you take that out, you have this plastic piece in here, and then this C-clip that holds that plastic piece in. So I took them off first, and then I unscrewed this, and I took out 3 parts, one at a time. The first one was this thinner plastic O-ring. That was the top. The middle, the sandwich, the meat, so to speak, is the black O-ring. And at the very bottom that the O-ring sits on top of is another thicker plastic ring. And it all comes in that kit. So put them back in the way you took them out, the thicker one first, then the O-ring, and then the thinner one. Then you can screw this back on. And it's not in there real tight. It's not like you got a wrench on it. I just used a screwdriver, a big one, and just turned it. So it was pretty easy. And then I used the smaller one to keep it going. And now I'm screwing that back in there. It looks like a pipe thread. And it goes back in there comfortably. Keep in mind where it sat before, which is towards the top. No big deal. And once you have it snugged in with your fingernail, then you can use your regular screwdriver, because it doesn't have to be that tight, and go in there and, turn it the best you can. And if that isn't enough, you don't feel it's snug enough, then use a bigger screwdriver, which I'm going to go get right now. Or maybe, you know what, I'm going to try, let me try this pick. My Snap-on pick is what I was using to take them out. Okay, that's snugged up. I used this crafty looking one. Worked out well. The blue rubber seal seems like on there, because I don't see anything else that it would go on, because these are the only parts. There's nothing else inside that unit that I could tell. So before I get too carried away with this, I'm going to place this like this, safe and sound, move the camera over here, and see if I can tell if there's anything in here with my rigid light. Oh, you know what? It's all blue in there. So I think it did get disintegrated. Ah, it's all nasty in there. That would be it. So I think I was right. My guessing is correct. So back to the original thought. I guess having a mechanical mind helps. And I think I'm putting this in correctly. The way this thing is all fitting and coming together, I'm going to go with my thought of doing that. Like I said, it's my first time ever doing one of these. And now I'm going to put the clip back on there. Yeah, I guess it's on. Looks like it's on. Alright, so that ends that part right there. I think it looks right. What do you think? I think it looks right. So now the next adventure, every time I use the O-rings, I was setting, or I would change them, I'm setting them off to the side. So whatever's left in the bag is what I got left to work with. And that's kind of how I'm handling that right now. So bring you back over here, and this O-ring down here has to be changed. I'm sure this thing threads out. I might get a pipe wrench and undo that to make it easier to clean inside there. And this inner tube, I think, has an O-ring on it as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you on standby and take that apart, and then show you that it was taken apart and what I did, so I can keep the video short. So stand by. Well, I'm sorry about that. I'm back, and my oily fingers just made the receiver for the fuzzy little microphone. The microphone won't catch in there. Keeps coming out. So I plugged in the mic that comes with the camera, and hopefully you'll be able to hear me. I just went through the whole session. Hopefully you saw it and be able to figure it out. So I'm going to turn this around. I don't know what point, but this sleeve here, inside that's another tube. So the tube has a plastic piece and an O-ring. So I changed those out, small O-ring, small plastic piece, and then it was that metal washer that I showed you that goes in there, and then the plastic ring goes in, and then the black O-ring, and then this cylinder, the sleeve here goes on there, and then I tightened it with the monkey wrench. And now I'm going to try to get the plastic piece out. That's for the part that does the pumping. That goes in there. It wasn't leaking, but I have it all apart, and I'm going to carefully try to get the pieces out. Hopefully you can hear me. I got it on high, so I'm going to bring it in a little closer. And grab my Snap-on funky pick. And see what I can do about taking that out. What I might do is take the O-ring out first. There it is. I'm going to match it up. You can see it. I got it. I'm going to hold off on putting that in there and see if I can see how this plastic piece can come out. If it's shaped like the other one, it's like a lock washer diameter, but I guess they made it so that it'll flex easier going back in there. So I'm going to wipe this out if I can. Put the let's put this piece in first. To go in. Yeah, a little at a time. And at the same time, you got to make sure you keep that plastic piece up that needs to face the outside of this block, because that O-ring belongs underneath it. That's how it was in there. So that's how I want to put it back. Yeah. I'm going to get a little bit of oil, put it in there, and slide that sleeve in and make sure it'll slide. Make sure she'll slide in there. There we go. And however this way this has to turn once it goes in there, that's no problem. It feels nice. Alright. And imagine these little O-rings are for these little babies right there. So I'm going to put you on standby. I'm going to take this apart, change out those O-rings because there's really only 2 left, and then start putting it back together. So hang tight. Okay, this one right here, this is the part that loosens it and allows you to, when you tighten it, to jack it up. This only has 1 O-ring. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And it unscrews out after you take the little lock plate with the one bolt and you unscrew this. So that's what I'm doing right now, is screwing it back in. You got to put a little pressure on it because of the O-ring, and then it'll start to go back in. This little lock plate and the bolt. Put it in there. Okay, I lost you there for a second, but now I'm going to start to assemble this. I did lock that piece in with the bolt. There's only these two flat like O-rings left, and a couple of other O-rings. Now, I'm not sure where they would go. This could probably be for another kit or another style, but I changed everything that could possibly change for this housing on this, including the main source. So all that's done. So all I gotta do now is start putting it back together. So I'm going to put a little bit of oil around this. Put some oil on the cylinder sleeve there. And there. See if this will go in. It is oiled up. Puss in Boots is back. Alright, that's that part. Alright, Kitty, with my dirty hands, I'm gonna get you. I gotta get her some food. She's looking at it. And that's back in. I'm going to put this cylinder sleeve back on there. I think I need some oil. Yeah. I did put oil on it, so both things look the same. I want to make sure, based on a jack situation, I believe that this filler plug needs to be towards the top. That's just my thought. Yep, guess the cat ate enough. She's going to drink some now. I'm going to put some oil on this O-ring. And I need a 2 1/16 socket. Alright, so that's tight, but not tight enough. I'm going to turn the vise sideways, lock it down so nothing moves on me, and get some good wrench on it. And then I'm going to put it back together inside the housing of which it belongs, because now the cylinder and all the main components are now done. Hopefully this video will help somebody. Like I said, this is my first time ever doing this, so it was a learning experience for me, and I believe I figured it out to the best. I think, I hope. I'll find out. So give me some comments. I know sometimes something happened, whether it's the microphone and then the camera shut off because I lost the power. I'm not the best, camera guy, technology-wise. I'm not a bozo, but at the same time, it's hard to keep track and focus 100% on the camera to see if it's working, if the microphone is still on, and as I'm concentrating on, doing what I'm doing, just like with this jack. Because I really want to put out some real good videos that will help somebody. In this case, it saved me $110. It was my time after the major job was done for the day. This was after a dinner project because it did come in the mail, and I wanted to get it done and out of the way. And tomorrow morning, I'll put this all back together after I clean it up good. I just wanted to get this cylinder done. It is getting a little late, and I just wanted to get this thing over with. So if you all make a comment, like, subscribe, that'd be awesome. And until then, try to get one of these done. Have fun.